When we first arrive in Syria, we are amazed by the modernization that has already taken place and their openness to Western influence. Friends were even frightened about our plans to go to Syria to receive this amazing international honor in the Middle East Fertility Society. But what we learned in Syria was that all people yearn for peace and to live together with mutual respect. So all religious people really are equal.
Equal. I told you Syria is a secular country.
Exactly. And the only problem, and they would intermarry with Jews also, except...
Jews, but some Jews they don't accept.
That's the problem, because it goes by the mother. If you're Jewish, it goes by the mother. If you're Muslim, it goes by the father.
Yes. The children belong to the mother religion for Jews, yeah.
But everything seems, religion, everything is equal and fair here.
It's equal. You know, we consider Islam, Christianity, and even Jewish religion is a culture.
Yes.
Syrian culture.
Yes.
And we love this culture.
The very first day we arrived, we decided to explore Ma'ula, which is a Christian community beyond Damascus, where the people and the culture are so ancient. I was amazed to hear Christians in the church in Ma'ula praying in Aramaic, which I thought was dead, but is still spoken in these few areas in Syria that have maintained their culture intact for 2,500 years. From the church and the homes in this mountain community, we were able to find a grand view that gives us a very spiritual feeling that these early Christians felt as they inhabited this area, in which in the early years they had to hide from the persecutions of the Romans before they were finally able to actually build their churches and live and practice their Christianity in the open. Inside the church are a variety of fertility symbols, some of which are very ancient and many of which are used today as part of their prayer rituals. It seems that for thousands and thousands of years, just as today, fertility is perhaps the most important issue in the lives of most people. We return to Damascus, which is a busy and somewhat modern city, despite being the very oldest occupied, inhabited city in the entire world. And we are now entering the old city of Damascus, which was the earliest and oldest city ever occupied and still occupied. Damascus was really the center point of all trade, coming from the east, from China and Persia and India, and from the west, from Palestine and Egypt and Africa, and from the north, from Turkey and Europe, and from Israel, from the direct west, and people from every single area of the world converged here, traveling either east or west on the Silk Road to exchange goods and to become a center of profit and sharing of ideas and art. You've heard, I'm sure, of Damascene and the art in Damascus with the inlays are transmitted from generation to generation, so that we see the most beautiful, incredible inlaid art that is a form of visual beauty that has lasted for thousands and thousands of years unchanged. Now we go into the famous Humid Mosque from 700 AD, one of the oldest mosques in history. Interestingly, this is the mosque where St. John the Baptist was buried, and Muslims revere him greatly and come to this mosque to revere his tomb because they have such respect for what he meant for eventual prophetic development of the Judeo-Christian Muslim proliferation of religion. We leave the Humid Mosque and travel again through the old city, enjoying all the sounds and the smells and the beauty of the diversity of the people. You can see some of the most incredible sculpture representing some of the deepest human feelings, exemplified by the artists of Damascus. And here you can see me with one of the really great sculptors and with the chief rabbi of Syria. We are now driving up to Palmyra, which is perhaps the most amazing example of the best hope we have for the future of the world, with the diversities of people coming together in one place where trade can bring peace and understanding between totally different cultures from the farthest corners of the world. And we are on the road from Damascus to Palmyra, which was the center of the universe, really, for 300 years after Christ, even. The Silk Road, this is where everybody stopped at this oasis. And then goods would go up to Turkey and to Europe. They would go down to Palestine and to Egypt and to Africa, and they would even go down southwest to Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula. So this was the central point for the east-west trade. We finally arrive in Palmyra and are completely blown away by the sight of history, the history of the Silk Road and the secret to the development of all of civilization, because along this road there was a possibility for people from the farthest corners of the earth to trade goods, to exchange ideas, and communicate with each other.
It is a beautiful sight.
We see one of the most beautiful amphitheaters that was used for great plays, cultural events, and also for the most awful things like executions and bloody flights with dangerous animals. As we stand alone in this incredible amphitheater, we feel like we are transported back many thousands of years into a different world, but a world that reminds us of what we have to search for today. Crusaders controlled the area. They built castles that were protected by being on top of the hills, representing a whole new stage in Palmyran life. We head back now to Damascus and stop once again at the Damascus Cafe to enjoy music and good food. Finally, the time came for me to receive my great honor from the doctors of fertility of the entire Middle East and to give my keynote lecture on Syrian television and Al Jazeera.
أنا سعيد بوجودي في دمشق النهارده عشان قابلت I'm supposed today and I present Professor Sherman Silber as an honorary member of the Middle East Fertility Society.
I will only take 2 minutes found here in this Middle East Fertility Society is that everybody is so extremely open-minded that it's a bridge between people. You know that I am Jewish, and to me it is an incredible honor to receive this from the Middle East Fertility Society. And in Syria particularly, this is a great honor, because over the millennia, Syria has been a crossroads where people from China travel the Silk Road and meet merchants from Africa and from Europe and from the Mediterranean. And Syria is a country that historically brings people together. And it's that bringing together of different peoples, bridging that huge difference between peoples, that helps us advance our knowledge and helps make the world a great place. And so it's wonderful to be here and to have this great friendship with all of you. Thank you. So who would think in this marvelous country with beautiful dancing, with diversity and respect for all peoples, for this great scientific coming together, who would think that 4 months later there would have been a revolution? Well, perhaps we all should have thought that. Perhaps we should have known. Syria is coming of age. And let's pray for peace and scientific cooperation between all countries in the Middle East, including all the Arab countries, Iran, and Israel.